Hi guys, this is just a for fun demonstration. I'm going to show you how to make a pumpkin, so if you're feeling really festive this harvest season, something you can try out. Then you can use that skill to make other kinds of things, but today it's just for fun. Get out of the way. Leave the bottom open on these, so you don't really have to worry about getting too thin at the bottom, because you could just cut it out. You could cut holes in the pumpkin, make it like a lantern, or just so that it's lighter and doesn't need a bottom. I'm gonna still leave a bottom on here, but I'm just gonna make it nice and thin. I'm still gonna compress it, even just because habits, even if I'm not gonna keep that bottom. Alright, so even though a pumpkin is like a round form, we're gonna start by pulling a cylinder. So that means, remember, the outside hand is doing more of the work, kind of pushing that clay in and up. And then once we have it about as thin as we can get it, or as comfortable as you are, we're gonna put our hand inside, and I'm gonna kind of push out a belly while keeping this in. So we're going inside and pushing. So right now it kind of looks like a vase. And I'm just gonna start necking this top in. If it's too wet, like right here, we'll just fall in. So kind of keep that in mind when you're throwing, not to get too crazy with the water, which I may have already done, but we'll see here. I'm just gonna squeeze, keep squeezing. Closed form here, and you can kind of play around. If you want this really long and exaggerated, you can just kind of pull it, get crazy with it, a little ridiculous, but it's kind of funny. You can curve it, whatever you want to do. You can adjust that later also. And I'm just going to round off the bottom a little bit before I put the little pumpkin grooves in. And then I just use a rubber tip tool. Could use like a paintbrush too, but just use this. And just put little, not too crazy, don't get too deep, or you could poke a hole in it. I just poked a hole in one earlier today. So however many you want. Sometimes I like to push this down a little too. And then you just can go in and kind of round these off. You know, at this stage we'll obviously clean it up a little bit more later as well, but for right now, just give those a more natural, rounded kind of look with a wet finger here. much it for the first day here. Cut it off. Slide it off. And put it wherever you're keeping your pots this COVID season. Alright, pumpkins. Alright, hey, here's pumpkins day 2. So you can see they have quite a bit of roughness to them from carving and just throwing with my slippy fingers. So they obviously need quite a bit of love. I already went ahead, I took a tool, just cut out the bottom. Like I said, I don't need the bottoms for these, so I just like to take the weight off, and I might want to make it a little lantern or something like that. So what I'm going to do, and what I've kind of already started, some of my little pumpkin lines I didn't think were deep enough, so I just took the pointed corner of my loop tool and kind of dug in a little bit more on some of them, or just in some spots. At the bottom, I kind of want to make it a little bigger so that it kind of looks like it's going in there. And this is all just kind of personal tastes and techniques here. You know, you're welcome to discover and do your own. But then what I don't like then, for it to be pumpkin-y, is like the pointiness of this. So what I'll be working on is just using my sponge and my wet finger to kind of round this back out so that it doesn't look like it was cut with my little loopy tool guy. So I'm just going in there and kind of eroding away that sharpness of the clay. I don't like these lines here from the throwing mark, so I will take my rib tool and shave that off. So a little bit of a curved edge, curvedness to that. Curvedness, I'm just making up words now. Kind of scrape. Get it how you want. I like to just get these like really smooth, and then I kind of like to glaze them non-traditional pumpkin colors like teal. It's one of my favorites that I've done. But you know, it's nice to have an orange and a white one as well. So you just kind of clean it up. You can see this section here is much smoother now than the rest. So you just work on that, cleaning up the stem a little. If I wanted to carve, you know, some kind of roughness to that, just take anything kind of sharp and start overlapping some little lines in here to give it that texture. And then a hardly wet sponge just to get like those little crusty dusties out. You could use a pencil tip for this, a pen tip, paper clip, whatever you got. If you want varying degrees of thickness of line, those are just some options that you can use that you might have at home. Back of a paintbrush will work. A couple of your tools obviously will work. Okay, so I could continue doing that. Just play around with it. Ooh, a little squirrel came by. Clean it up. This guy here, he's a hot mess. I was deciding if I was gonna keep him or not, but then I thought, you know, let's not be so mean to the ugly pumpkin. But he is gonna need quite a bit of work. He kind of looks more like a bell pepper to me. So I'm not sure what I'm going for here, but I'm gonna give him a chance. So I cut out his bottom too, and I just want to kind of get rid of these big gouges here that I made. So I'm just gonna try to use my finger and smooth it while it's still a little soft. And then I'm just gonna work on softening this guy up and seeing, you know, if he's worthy to be kept. Not sure, but it's kind of cool. I threw this one I didn't get the top all the way closed off, so then I just took some of my clay and started I pulled a stem like I would pull a handle and just kind of stuck it on there while it was still on the wheel, and so far seems to be working pretty good. So kind of making my mistake work and see what happens to it. This one though is the one from the demo, so this one's just gonna get the same, a few more like carvings in here at the bottom just to make those lines come all the way through, and then just give it a sponge down, a little texture on the stem, and I'm done. So I got my own fall decor. All right, thank ya.